They said Dallas is the best offense in the league. The Chiefs can't get out of their own way and stop shooting themselves in the foot. Well, guess what, folks? They're back again. You thought they were back before. The defense is back today. We're going to get deep into it. This is your post-game breakdown. Welcome to RGR Football. I'm like bouncing. I feel like river dancing.
Go for it, man. That was no loss November, right? They decided to just clean house in November and take it into December with a full head of steam into the bye. That's what you need to see right there going into a bye. We talked about it last week. Like, it's not a huge thing if they lose this game, depending on how it was. But you win this game. Look, everything is in front of you. We just talked about it. The Bills get destroyed by the Colts. The Titans don't have anything offensively or defensively to say against the Texans, and look at that. The Chiefs are right there.
Oh, it's crazy. I'm a little surprised. Folks, this is RGR Football. If you're new to us, if you're a Chiefs fan, you never heard of us before, I'm Ryan Tracy. He's Dan Harms. This is what we do after a ball game, is tell you what we saw, what we thought, go through our notes. The Q&A will be tomorrow night. We'll try to look at your topics as well, but Stevie brings up a good one here. If you want to support the channel, this super chat is a good way to do it, and if you do, it guarantees that I'm going to read it. I'll just tell you that. Why were there so many RPOs and deep passes called today? So aggravating to see the O take a huge leap backwards. I thought it started well.
Yeah.
And once you got outside the 15, it all kind of went back to what they want to do, not what they need to do. And I agree with you. And again, Steve, this goes back to like what I said. You got to call the runs. Don't call RPOs, because Mitch Schwartz pointed it out on social media tonight that when you call the RPOs, there were like 4 or 5 in a row that Patrick chose to throw the ball when they were called to be on the ground. And that's part of it. So that said, Dan, what stood out to you the most about this performance overall? I don't care what side of the ball.
So I think most of us are frustrated with the offense, obviously. I do think that the Dallas defense did a very good job of adjusting after the Chiefs came out and pretty much did whatever they wanted to in the first 3 drives outside of the stall for that field goal. And they were doing a good job of taking away Mahomes' first reads, which he likes to do a lot of. They also were doing a good job of clamping on short and intermediate underneath routes. They were flowing to the ball very, very well. And that didn't confuse Mahomes. It made him a little more frustrated. That's why you still see those RPOs there, to try to get some of those deeper shots, to try to get some separation for those underneath throws. They wanted to get McCole Hardman and Tyreek Hill underneath, but their linebackers and the corners and safeties were doing a really good job of flowing to it and really collapsing on those underneath throws. So I think Mahomes played pretty well in this game, considering, we talk about all the drops. I think that they probably put up 30 points in this game on offense had they not had all those drops, because you can't get into a rhythm. Mahomes found himself fighting drops and bad penalties all game. They couldn't find the offense couldn't get in a rhythm after that, and it derailed them. So as much as I think that they could have, definitely benefited from running actual runs, like you said, not just those RPOs and letting him choose to throw them. Definitely get some more of those runs in there, and they would have been better off. But it was hard to watch. They just continuously found themselves dropping the ball, more inconspicuous and opportune turnovers, penalties, just you name it.
Yeah. Kudos to them for rationing it down. I thought the second half they were more disciplined. I was glad to see that the 2 guys they got on sportsmanlikes, who were in danger had they done something else of getting ejected, were able to control themselves. So good for them for coming back. Daryl, it sounds like you were able to do that as well with your brother-in-law. So cheers. I'm glad you guys got that.
Appreciate that.
Random, you had a good question. It feeds right into my notes as well. This is like we're getting a glimpse of what Andy Reid and the offensive staff's plan is, what they expect. They expect to run their front 15, maybe have to go a little bit below that in order to loosen up the defense. And then they expect to be able to do what they want to do because they've put that effort in and forward. And that's a legitimate concept. It's just when it doesn't come through, you got to go back and keep earning it. And that seems to be why it bogs down, because we've seen, 4 games in a row now where the tempo, the running, keeping it balanced early then sets them up pretty well, and then they go away from it.
Yeah. That's just been outside of the Raiders game, which we all knew was. I mean, if you wanted to accept it at the offense being like fully back, you could have. But still, when teams play too high and they force you to play underneath, and the offense doesn't run the ball as much as they need to and feed into it, like I think that they could have, it just continues to force this method of the Chiefs trying to implement their game plan instead of adjusting to what the defense is giving you. I think they could have done a good job of taking what happened with the Raiders game and building off of it with taking what they were given. And yet, even with those deep shots, Mahomes didn't throw the ball down the field in this game. Not really.
No.
There were a couple like shots, but I didn't see him take any of the deep throws that he had been taking the previous couple of games, even though they were clearly drawn up.
Yeah. And that again, I think was that we saw the evolution of his discipline, that he didn't need to. And if it wasn't for the drops, like you said, the intermediate throws, they moved the ball well. They would have put up 30 points. They would have at least two more other scores. So 33 points? That's plenty. And so I think that shows not only us, but Patrick, he doesn't have to push it downfield as much. So good for him. I thought he played disciplined. I thought the offensive line looked great overall. Obviously, Parsons is a problem. But in general, in running the ball, in players not named Parsons, did you hear another name in the front four? Because I didn't.
No, not really, man. They did one time where they dropped Parsons into pass coverage off of a simulated pressure, and they brought a linebacker, Armstrong, I think it was, or he was a defensive line or something like that. But they brought someone else and dropped Parsons into coverage, and then Mahomes steps up into a sack. But yeah, outside of Parsons, they did not generate anything. And Andy Reid, being stubborn Andy Reid that he is, decided that I'm just going to leave some guys on islands at times. Just that's the one thing that continuously frustrates me is, as much as they probably could have gotten away with less sacks in this game, Andy Reid refuses to give that chip help at times when you're in those third and long situations. Like, that's the most frustrating part, is that they're in situations where you know that they're going to rush the passer, and yet Andy was just like, I'm good. And that's the most frustrating part for me.
And it's the attack design. He doesn't want to give up the attack design for the protection, and he wants to see, and he feels, and I can't say that he's not justified, because in the past this has worked like this, that he feels if you put those guys in those positions, they'll improve. They'll improve under fire. Maybe 5-10 years ago that was true. The speed of these edge rushers now is just so dramatically different. And I've watched it through the years, through the athletic matrix and everything else. Every measurement you can find, you can see the evolution of speed at the edge rusher position. It just doesn't work anymore.
No. They were able to take advantage of that.
It's difficult. He's got to update his ways. Yeah. You guys have the key question. I see a bunch of them about Fed. Yes. We don't know anything yet. Matt Derrick is covering the pressers for us and for Chiefs Digest. I'll be with him on Locked On Chiefs here in another half an hour or something like that. So check out Locked On Chiefs. We'll give you the breakdown from that as well. Jake, that's a fair point. Everybody's missing people at some point in the season, though. The Chiefs had guys not play. Like, there's no Sammy Watkins. So we could all say everybody's missing something. I don't think that that's a key milestone. On the positive side, I thought, while Wiley struggled with Parsons, we knew that he would. I thought otherwise he held up decently. And he did have some reps where he won against Parsons. So I can't complain too much about him. Obviously, that speed rush that he got home on embarrassed Orlando. But again, that's Orlando's weak spot. I thought overall the line was solid. Outside of the drops, how did you feel about the targets, about the pass catchers?
I feel like they went to Byron Pringle, a drawn up play for Byron Pringle early in the game. It was drawn up to put attention on someone else to get him open, and then they just stopped. And I understand that when things aren't going your way, you want to get it to your comfortable, your Travis Kelce, your Tyreek Hill, but they stopped going to everybody else. They didn't use Clyde in the passing game as much as they should have. Again, they bring him back, and they go back to everything that they do wrong, and it's not involving enough players. And I know that you want to get, like I said, to get to your trusted players, but when you have everyone dropping balls and when you have things not going your way, you have to get it to some other guys. And I'll wait, obviously, till we see the all 22. But I'm willing to bet that people were open in this game, not named Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and the ball just didn't get there. So I'm a little frustrated with that because I felt like they were doing a good job specifically with getting Byron Pringle more involved and utilizing some of his speed and his size to their advantage. And they just didn't do that. They didn't do any of those like stock block fakes. They didn't do any of those blocks from Travis Kelce. They didn't use the H-back. They just went away from everything that worked last week and just didn't use it properly. So
it's like they didn't want to show it again.
Yeah,
that
like,
was that was that.
Yeah, and I get it. You were up in this game early, but come on.
Like they still have the numbers, right? Like remember when we used to always shout out on social media, like, hey, there's like 7 or 8 guys who've caught passes. He did target that same number of guys, but 2 for Pringle, 3 for Hardman, 2 for CEH, 3 for Darrell, 1 for Gray, 1 for Bell, 2 for Gordon.
And that's not enough.
Yeah, exactly. You got to spread it more and keep that as part of it. That's how you keep a defense off balance. And it's a little bit like they got to get out of this break, especially like you said, when they see something that works, don't go back to it. It's problematic. And Sean, that's what I think it really comes down to.
Yeah.
Again, if it wasn't for the drops, that would have been dramatically different, in my opinion. Folks, hope you enjoyed Sean's video from Arrowhead this morning. He's doing a great job for those. Make sure that you follow along if you missed it and go check out Big Chief Sean Football. You can find that. I think the link's in the description on his search. So big thanks for Sean for putting out content on here, getting us a view from the stadium. Cause man, it feels like forever since I've been there. So I like to see that myself. Mike Quigley, thank you for the super chat. Glad to make another live to support you guys. Thank you, sir. D-line looked great. Chris Jones is Chris Jones. I tweeted out at one point, like when you're talking about, you're looking at a list and it's you and it's Neil Smith and it's Derek Thomas of all people. Like you are in rarefied air at that point.
Yep. Chris Jones back at defensive tackle with the addition of a healthy Frank Clark and Melvin Ingram. This is the defensive line that we all thought we were getting week 1 of this season. Like this is what it was supposed to be. They're getting a ton of pressure and they didn't even necessarily have to blitz to get pressure on Dak Prescott. They were doing a very good job of winning one-on-one, and Chris Jones absolutely destroyed Zach Martin, who has been one of the best guards in all of football for the last however many years. He absolutely took it to him. I think people, especially specifically on the Dallas side, thought they were going to keep him away from Zach Martin, but Chris Jones is not going to shy away from playing anybody. He beat every single player on that offensive line once today, at least once.
Did you count it up, or
he lined up everywhere?
Okay,
and he beat everybody at least.
I thought
once
so
in this
too.
game.
I just want to confirm that because that's like something.
I won't confirm.
I beat the entire O-line of the Dallas Cowboys. I
think they challenged him too. If I'm being honest, they moved him all around, and I think that he just had his way everywhere. And Ingram again doing a great job of just taking tackles and putting him in the lap of Dak Prescott to force him to step up into these defensive tackles. The defensive line did a great job. They get the game ball for me. They were incredible.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, if it wasn't for Chris having a stellar, I mean, like maybe a career game at this point.
Yeah.
Mine, I think Voodoo's online with me. Thank you, Voodoo. Mine goes to Sneed. I don't care about the hands to the face. That was a slip. He tried to punch and missed. Okay, that happens. I will take that all day long. I think Fenton's penalty was legit. He's got to be more contained than that. But when he gets assaulted like that on a football field, they don't call it.
I got no issues. I got no issues. He was taken to the ground by the face mask. I have no issues with how he handled that.
Yeah, I have to let that go. If I'm Andy, I'm like, okay, listen.
Yeah, obviously.
That's a little over the top, and you can't do it again because we need you. You can't get a second one of these.
Like the gun afterward. Okay, maybe rail back on that a little bit. Like just cut that out. But I have no issues with him like getting talkative with them because that was some crap.
Absolutely. I never use anything like a gun on a football field, people. This is national
ever.
television, for the love of God.
No.
Thank you, Voodoo. Thank you, Travis. I'll look for a comment from you as well.
Much.
So Sneed, I said game ball in the first half for Sneed, and then Chris.
Yeah, he was great.
But Fenton played good prior to getting the lower leg injury. I think we won't know. It looked like a upper body to me, like a severe stinger or something. I was worried about a collarbone.
So he did land on his knee. There's going to be an MRI on Monday, along with Jerick McKinnon on his hamstring, according to Matt Derrick. So they have MRI set up. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. But yeah, that was you can't. It's hard to go low like that. I thought he may have gotten in the shoulder, the neck area when he went low on Zeke, but I'm a little more optimistic that it's nothing serious because he didn't get like jabbed in the neck or anything. So I'm hoping that the MRI is negative on his knee because that is a bruise. Maybe it's a bruised knee and you get the bye now and you can just kind of have him heal up, because I was saying to the TV, okay, he's going to target Mike Hughes now. He's going to target Mike Hughes. He's going to target right at Mike Hughes just every time. So getting Fenton back is going to be very important because those guys played well in this game.
Travaris Ward played well. I know he got beat late on that one where he was playing kind of soft coverage. I thought Spags backed off a little bit too much down the last couple of drives. But getting his head around on that interception, I mean, this is the Travaris Ward we've wanted to see where he actually performs to his potential.
Well, Travaris Ward's been fine if you just ask him to cover this one area and then
right,
just backward. Anything across his face or a double move, he showed you that coming across his face, and Gallup got him with a double move early in the game, and then Dak missed that throw. But again, if you make him move side to side, it's not best for him. But again, that was a great play. Like, don't take anything away from him. He was in perfect position, got his heads around and actually reading CeeDee Lamb on that play, knowing he's going for the ball. And combined with a little tiny bit of an underthrow from Dak, he's able to come by with that pick. It's a great job.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and when you look at it, they kept him to what? 5 of 15 on third down.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Rainy Tacos, thank you for your support. We appreciate it. It's not just you. I saw a lot of mix and matching. I will say this. I think that they still believe when it's a known passing situation that they want to go with those guys. And I think part of it, watching how much, and I did see Bolton and Gay in the 2 linebacker set alone tonight without Hitch. So I think that was a step forward. But I do think that we're talking about 2 young guys that they're worried not only about, they play balance, they play the run and the pass, whereas where Sorensen and Neiman are only pass defenders at this point.
Yes.
And I think they're a little worried about wearing out the young guys. Like, I think it's a rotation specifically for keeping guys fresh at this point. Do you?
I don't disagree, but I think that there's a considerable drop off, and we noticed it every time that Willie Gay was not in the field. That third down stop against one-on-one against Zeke in the open field on 3rd and 2, that's the play that doesn't happen, that hasn't happened for years, because the Chiefs don't have a linebacker that can do that. And the one time that we saw it was that Bengals game like 4 years ago. And then outside of that, it's been gone. And Willie Gay can almost certainly do that. He flashes speed from to the sideline multiple times in this game. So I think they're getting more comfortable playing him on more key third down situations early in the game. That gives me confidence that they're starting to earn the trust of the defensive staff. And for this defense that was so bad early in the season that I said so much crap about, like I said a lot of stuff about Steve Spagnuolo, I have to give them so much credit for finally adjusting to the players that you have. Like, let's not be dumb. They took too long to adjust to it.
Yes.
And now that you finally have those players in the position to succeed, you're seeing the fruits of that labor. And you're seeing that even though Spagnuolo blitzed a ton of Dak Prescott in this game, he wasn't getting burned. Right. He wasn't getting burned. And that shows me that they did a great job studying specifically on those wide receiver screens. They ate those up all
They were
day.
prepared.
Yeah, they were very well prepared. And I got to tip my hat to Steve Spagnuolo because they had them very, very prepared for this game.
I would have rather seen it in October, Steve. Just saying.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, but better late than never.
Yep. That's why I said.
AP, you're absolutely right. Team win. Everybody went in, did what they needed to do. Were able to absorb their mistakes and recover. And that's what it all comes down to. Somebody asked about the pooch punt. I think I missed that comment, but I'm not a huge fan of that play myself. But as I understand, the wind in the stadium was whipping. So given what we'd seen already, I can understand how they were like, let's just not put it there and give it to him at the 47 or whatever. Let's put it down there.
It makes a lot of sense because you're already at a 2-possession game. A field goal makes it still a 2-possession game. And like you said, the wind was 16 plus miles an hour moving left and right all over the place. And they already had a miss from 51. Like it just made sense. And they got him down at the 2-yard line. I have no issues with how that play turned out.
Yeah, I was hopeful for the safety there. I just wanted
Yeah.
to say that you got one. I mean, not only did you keep the quote unquote best offense in the league out of the end zone, but if you had done that, I would have just felt better because I did about folks. I did 10 or so Cowboys related appearances this last week, and every single one of them started with, "What are you guys going to do to stop the best offense in football?" And I was like,
play defense.
I was
Show
like,
up.
yeah, they're going to send 4. You're going to get a little pepper here and there, and they're going to play hard. That's all I got. So amazing how that works. Thank you, Pono. Appreciate it. I'm not going to argue about Pringle either. As far as there are enough performances to go around for game balls for me. Cody, let's get some love for Allegretti. Tommy for pinning it at 3. Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Thank
Especially
you,
for Allegretti, who, as a starter last year, now he doesn't get to play much. Like, good for him for making the most of it. I still want to see him at fullback, just saying.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Should we still be concerned with the offense facing 2 high safeties, only scoring 19? Faithful, I understand where you're coming from. It was not the safeties that limited them today. It was the drops that limited to them. They had plenty of ways to attack. Yeah, and you know what? Good for them for featuring Tyreek early.
Yes.
Because you got him active. I think when he goes too long on a stretch without, a successful catch or something that he at least gets his blood pumping, you know what I mean? Like, I think that slows him down, and I think it opened up Travis today.
Yeah, that huge end around on the first drive of the game that they never went back to. That's one of the things, again, that get me on a rant about this offense is that they have a play like that. And then what do? You don't go back to it. And 2, you don't run anything off of it. Yeah. That's so frustrating when you can have this action and you can drag attention from the defense over with Tyreek Hill. They don't use it more. So that's frustrating. But yes, I think you're definitely right. Getting his blood pumping going early and getting the ball in his hands helps the offense that much better.
Love the Wildcat. I would run that with probably Gray and Burton in the backfield. That's what I would do. But you saw how the motion and the optional pitch really drew the defense. Hi, hon. She's like, night, see ya. And that allowed Travis to do what he did. And that was another play where they optioned and were actually looking to option Parsons. Now, the actual option play did come. They did run it. It just Parsons wasn't the edge of that particular play. So, unfortunately, I thought they'd aim it at him. But so, Faithful, I don't think it's anything to be too discouraged about. Daryl, thank you. I don't know why Mahomes try to burn the clock when they're winning the game. It's not even about burning the clock. He's forgetting to burn the clock because he wants to exploit the defense. He wants to throw downtown. He wants to score points. And that, again, is going to be a continued maturation process of just containing yourself. Let's see. Anything else stood out to you offensively?
Not really. I think that we've covered a lot of the offensive stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to know about the different types of deep route concepts that they used. I think that they could have done a better job of actually using the running backs in this game, like we talked about. But I think we covered pretty much
Did
everything
Nicole redeem
offensively.
himself in your eyes?
I mean, not really. McCole had another drop over the middle of the field that would have been a first down, and yeah, he had a good play. But it's not just him. The Chiefs also aren't using him enough. They want to get speed to the edge, but they want to use their running backs to get to the edge, which baffles me because they don't have speed at running back. And they only did it once with McCole. They did it again with Tyreek early in the game, and they don't want to use their playmakers on the edge that have speed for some reason. They don't want to consistently do that. So it's their own fault for not getting him. Like, they had a really good stretch of using McCole Hardman on those just pop passes to him, like just get him the ball in space, let him get 7-8 yards, and then they just have shut it down. I don't know why, but I know that obviously his fumbling issues have probably been an issue with that, some trust there as well. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to get some speed along the edge if you want to actually force defenses to play the whole field and not just stop on all these short routes, because they're just refusing to get speed to the edge. So, and then, like we talked about with the running backs, it's really confusing.
Yeah. I thought Gray played more. I thought he blocked better tonight than I had given him credit for in the last few weeks. So I see like a little bit of a progression there. Let's see. Low lip. Fenton's going to have an MRI on a knee tomorrow. So is McKinnon. Let's see what else. Sneed. Yep. Thank you, Muddy. Thank you, Angela. Appreciate you guys keeping us going with this stuff. Your support is incredible. Daryl, third
very
super
much,
chat
guys.
tonight. Thank you very much. Board saw the ball, then he got his head around. Yeah, exactly. Like he put together what we've been asking him to do for the last 3 years. So kudos to him. One other thing that stood out to me offensively, they showed it late. It appears that EB is calling the plays.
Yeah, it does look that way, doesn't it?
And it was a steady shot too. Like Andy wasn't like talking with him. It was just him. So like, I know there's been a lot of question about that lately. And I feel that that's important to recognize. Lego, yes. Thornhill, I thought played a solid game, was in position where he needed to be. I thought he had a chance at one big play that he didn't get to, but I can't remember what it was. Alex, I'm not going to comment on refs. The refs are out there. The only thing worse, and if you guys want to really enjoy me cussing up a storm, being pissed off, listen to the member show that I'll do this week, because I am up to here. With Buck and Aikman. I'm done. I won't watch. I will not watch and listen to them anymore. Mike Pereira, you're a fool. You know better than the idiotic things that you said on the broadcast tonight. I am ridiculously over this. That's all I'm going to say about it for right now. Chiefs fan, thank you. Glad that you're here and appreciate the support. He's about to get, he is.
Man.
And man, he was this close. Like, he was visibly upset, and I like to see that.
He almost had that too. You could see he was, as soon as he passed by, he had the whole, he's close.
I feel you, Knicks fan. There's always next year.
And they'll both be gone. So
that's my thought as well. Jaden, thank you for the support. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
I'll see if there's another comment from you for first time watching you guys live. Well, glad you're here.
Thank you. Welcome.
There's a number of other people that have said that. And I'm sorry I missed you, but thank you all for being here. I know it's a weird thing live and all that kind of stuff, but glad you guys made it. I'm sure I look even worse than I normally do when I stream.
I think it's better today than it usually is.
Oh, well, that's good. I like it. Let's see. And so that brings us to William. Thanks, Bill. Thought the pre-snap communication of linebackers was better. Example where Willie blew up that screen. Yep. There were still a couple of moments of confusion out there, but I agree with you. I think on the whole, I thought the calls were there. Everybody seemed to understand what they were doing the most of the time. I will say this too, though. It was drive number 2 for me that set the tone for the defense, because you had, in 3 consecutive plays, you had Sneed make that great break up tackle for loss on the screen. You had Bolton come around the edge and backside pursuit. And that's something Nick didn't do that well in college. That is an improvement. So that backside pursuit is important. And then you had, was it Melvin that got there? No, it was Frank.
That was Frank Clark. Yeah, Frank strip sack.
But we do have to keep in one caveat, because you're going to hear all kinds of smack about how great Frank was. Both he and Bolton were unblocked on those plays. So let's keep it real.
There was some miscommunication on the offensive line.
I heard from people immediately. It was like 5 seconds. Like, I was hearing from people on social media. Yes, I know Frank can still get after it, but if he has to go through someone, it's different. D Money, thank you. Remember when we were 3-4 and or 3-4, and everyone was talking about how we were going to miss the playoffs? Feels like ages ago. That is true. And in fact, I'm going to share with you guys where we are at right now. If I can.
There we go. That's one of the things that I think is important as us that talk about them every week, and things change every single week, is we're going to say stuff. Specifically, I'm more apt to say it than Ryan is about my true feelings about the team at the time. And sometimes you're going to be wrong. I'm going to be wrong about that kind of stuff a lot, but it was always about the consistency. I'm still not seeing the consistency there, but the defensive turnaround, I think we can fully take advantage of the fact that they are much, much better than they were over a month ago. And again, hats off to Spags for finally adjusting, getting it all figured out, and they're really starting to get some confidence behind them, which has been the key to their whole success the last 3 years.
Absolutely. 6-4 looks pretty good down here, doesn't it, folks? It took 10 weeks, 11 weeks, I guess, technically, But now the division looks exactly how I predicted it in preseason. But here's the important part: 6-4, 7-4, 3-3. Now, technically, the Pittsburgh Steelers only have 3 losses as well, but this is going to screw them for life. But there are only 2 AFC teams with less losses than the Kansas City Chiefs. And with the bye weeks and all that, everybody's got a little bit different record right now. So it'll all eventually boil down to how many losses you get. And so right now, I warned you about the Titans, that there was a chance, right? Well, they went and blew it again today. So now that chance is becoming even more. And so you're absolutely right, Bonnie. Like, that was then, this is now, things change. The Titans could lose another game. The Ravens could certainly lose again. That is not a problem here, just in the next couple of weeks. So, like, at this point, I'm going to just say it. They're not out of consideration for the top seed again. They're right back in it as far as I'm concerned.
No, you're definitely right about that. And there was a super chat miss that I will say out. Scott, thank you for the super chat. Bolton and Gay solidifying, stopping the run. It wasn't just them, but yes, they're helping a lot. They were very much a run first, go after Zeke in this game. And I really liked to see they've been much better at stopping the run overall. Like over the past month, the defensive front, Derek Nottie and Jerron Reed have been excellent at keeping the linebackers clean, and they've been getting downhill much faster. So that's really, really nice to see. So yes, I would definitely agree with that.
Outside of the big Pollard run tonight, which I don't think was a lack of discipline, I think that was just some good blocking on their part. I
think so.
Did it really well. Sorry, thank you for pointing that out. Sorry, I missed you, Scott.
No problem.
Jaden, thank you again. You listen on Spotify. Okay, cool. It sounds like Alex Smith, or is it just me?
I don't know. I don't know who's talking about Alex Smith, but
I've never been accused of that before. It's got to be you.
I don't know, man.
Thank you again, Jaden.
You
are all over this timeline. I'm going to try to catch up here. I've got a couple more notes, but we're going to try to catch up here. Rain and Tacos, thank you. How impressed should we be with holding Dallas to 9, knowing they were missing Smith, Cooper, and Lamb? I don't care. They had Lamb for a half, you guys. They stopped them.
Lamb wasn't getting open. He wasn't getting open anyway. And as much as I think that Cooper helps a lot, I don't think that it would have made that big a difference. Do they score a little bit more and force the offense to maybe be a little bit better? Maybe. But I think at the end of the day, the Chiefs defense came up and said, we're going to play. And they came to play. And the play calling for the Cowboys was a little suspect too. They seemed to be a little afraid to take deep shots against this defense. They didn't want any part of it.
And they didn't want to run the ball either. It was a mirror image out there, to tell you the truth. But yeah, like, I understand where you're coming from, Taka, but I think people overestimate. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's missing somebody, or somebody's playing through an injury or whatever. Like, I think Cooper's presence would have given them, it would have been good for another 7 points, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe
but that's
10,
still
maybe.
A win. Maybe. Yeah, fair enough. Somewhere in that range. Jaden, thank you again. Clyde is back.
He is back.
And I thought he looked good. And I liked how he behaved after he made contact. He drove that pile. He looked like he did at LSU for the first time this season, where he moved contact afterwards that his guys just had to help him with.
Yeah, if you finally get him moving forward instead of trying to get him sideways, he looks a bit better. And I know that there's a lot of people that still think that Darryl is better, and that's your own prerogative. You can have your own opinions. That's fine. I think that Darryl didn't get the opportunities that he should have gotten in this game, particularly after coming off of his best performance of his career. I think that was a little bit of an oversight on the Kansas City Chiefs coaching staff. As much as you want to get Clyde back involved, it's right before the bye. So the timing is a little bit weird with that, when you have a guy coming off your best performance and then you have a guy coming in who was injured. It just, I don't know. I would have liked to see them do a bit more with Darryl and use them in the passing game a bit more. But Clyde showed you in the middle of this offensive line why he's a better fit in terms of what they want to do running those gap and power concepts than Darryl is.
I agree. And I even wrote it in here in the notes, like, there was a 7-minute and 20-second span where they did not run the ball.
Yeah.
That's significant. Brian, thank you for yours. Phoebe is calling the plays. Do we need to do something to get him a job somewhere else? Play calling goes south in very bad places. Again, for the 17th year in a row, it seems that I'll say this. I think you should get a head coaching job. So I don't know how much longer you have to worry about it, but every year they prove me wrong. So Haven't missed an episode in 2 years. Wow, Jaden. Good
Thank
job.
you, Jaden. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
I've missed episodes in that span. Good Lord, man. Great work going to be here and do more than you think the Chiefs can win out.
Okay,
Can they win out? That's a tough one.
The Chiefs can win out. They can. Are they
Yeah.
going to? I don't think so. I think they're going to drop a head scratcher along the way. But I do think.
I will not argue with you. I like the way you put that.
Yeah. They seem to find ways to do that. And the way they've played this year tells me that something's coming. Like there's a game in there that down the stretch that we're just going to be like, they lost that game. But I think they'll figure it out.
Oh, this is a great one. This is the last thing I have in my notes, and then we'll get to wrapping it up here, folks. We did break 30 minutes, so we're in good shape. Where to go? Scott, I did get you. Now I lost the other one. Shoot. It was right here.
I don't know what you did.
The disturbance in the face or the force? I like that, Gooch. Thank you. Well, shoot. Somebody asked about it, and it was a nice short question. Is Melvin Ingram the difference?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. I don't know where it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there. Thank you, Undead.
Thank you.
Zombie movie night for you, I guess. Okay, cool. For me, he is, but not in the way that you think. He didn't come in here and start crushing people. He allowed them to let Chris go back in the middle. That allowed him to help Frank and keep the two of them, especially, you notice how much that they lined up on the same side of the ball.
Yeah.
Like having them next to each other is a significant for both, I think. And so, yes, he is the catalyst that allowed that to happen. So I will say it is because they got Melvin, or if they'd gotten another pass rusher, if they'd gotten Matt Judon in the offseason, like I told them to, it'd be the same situation. It allowed them all to improve.
Yeah, it turns out I was a little bit wrong about Matt Judon, but Ingram from the start of the season would have helped a whole lot. And I think the Steelers every day that they were like, yeah, let's go ahead and trade him to the Chiefs at the deadline, because that might have been one of the biggest mistakes that was made in this season in terms of a front office being like, we're not going to get anything out of this player. Let's go ahead and trade him, because he looks to have done everything to help line everybody up properly. Like they can trust him out there to win one-on-one. As much as I like Mike Dan, I think he's shown you he is what he is. He's not a starter.
Good base end. Yeah.
He's a good base end. He's not giving you much in the pass rush. Alex Okafor, injured, can't give you much in the pass rush anymore. And Ingram, you can trust him be out there by himself and generate pass rush. He can do it.
You guys are right. I had to refresh my screen. There are 7 wins. Again, I was just concentrating on the losses. So the losses are what's key. Lucky Croc. Yeah. Does that mean you're Canadian? More and more Canadian fans. I just want to say hi to all of you up north.
Appreciate you guys.
We both feel that they could win out. They could not. Evan, thank you. We appreciate you very much.
You guys.
Glad you guys are digging it. It's been a crazy season for all the NFLs. Yes. You're absolutely right.
You're not wrong.
Dude, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. There was some craziness today, too. So it's not like slowing down.
All right. So it is me that sounds like
okay. I like that.
Right.
I was just on a stream.
I can deal with it.
I was on a stream this afternoon, a little bit, about 10 minutes in the second quarter, folks, with Alex and Jamal Charles this afternoon. It wasn't a one-on-one.
Oh, man.
So I was in there with them. I'm going to try to set that up. But both of them were in a private setting, were very much fun to listen to. They sound a lot like us. So I just want you to know
that's awesome. That makes me happy.
Stevie, Gooch has the Jason Voorhees sense. I like that. People talking about good certain players and teenage camp counselors sneaking up into the woods. I like that. I just take Troy Aikman with you, will you please?
Please.
It could just be gas. You never know. It's just not prepared for. Gooch is bloated gas. Does anyone have any guess? That's a whole kind of different juicy there, folks. Let's be careful. Jaden, thank you very much. Oh my Lord, I didn't know that. Aaron Morrow, our fearless leader, will tell us. We're going to wrap it up. I'm going to have dinner with the family, and then I got to do the Locked On Chiefs show. But the last couple of things, I thought it was fitting that Sneed ended the game.
Off of a deflection from Chris Jones,
right? Those two together, and I like the name, by the way. I think it was the Chiefs home account that came up with it. Chris Jones -- CEO Sack Nation. I like that one. I'm going to have to come up with something that again. I talked about Gray. We hit on Willie. Yeah. We talked about Pringle. Okay, we got most of my notes in here. So any other takeaways for you, Dan?
I think this was a hard-fought game. Like I do think Dallas's defense adjusted well, and they played exactly the way that they had to force the offense to sputter a little bit, because they knew that the Chiefs weren't going to run the ball as much as they probably should have. So you're going to have to win games like this, and it's ugly. And I think right now winning these ugly games is different than winning these ugly games earlier in the season, because you're starting to see the defense show signs of life, and now you have everything in front of you to play for. So it grows their confidence. It doesn't make them question everything like they did earlier in the season. I think it's showing you, okay, we're starting to evolve, winning different ways. They won with their defense today, and that was no slight to the offense, because it wasn't that great, but the defense won this game, which is not something they've been able to say over the course of this season. So again, knock on wood.
Here's my tweet deck, folks. Sorry, I'm checking too many things. Forgot the screen share is on. You guys don't need to look at that.
Hi, guys.
You can see how many things that I'm looking as the things go wrong. Yeah, you got hives from both of them. I like that.
Appreciate it.
You guys, we're going to be back, and you're going to hear from Stevie and Gooch again on Friday. They do the Rogue Head Huddle. We cover things up till Thursday. Then Seth comes on. Then you get Gooch and Keys. Then on Saturday, you get the Modfather picks. If you're a member, you can join the memberships that way. Sorry, underneath Dan.
Yeah.
And then you get my rants and all that kind of stuff that isn't safe for people at work or safe for kids. That stuff is only behind the members wall. You got to join the members and be a rookie or above. You can do that as well. And then you get Sean on game day mornings or game night afternoons or whatever it happens to be. So that is it. Thank you, guys. Dirty, I'm glad that you're enjoying it as well. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll do the standard Q&A, all of your questions tomorrow night. Dan, if you're available, cool. If not, then I will handle it. Rock and roll. I hope that you guys have a good evening, and thank you for all the support tonight. Enjoy this win. Great. Enjoy Victory Monday, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Night.